The Conservative Party was imploding, not slowly, not quietly, spectacularly. On January 15th, 2026, it all came crashing down in a single devastating day. Robert Jenrick, Shadow Justice Secretary, former leadership contender, senior conservative figure, was sacked by party leader Kemi Badenoch. His whip was withdrawn, his party membership suspended, and within hours, he defected to Reform UK, taking with him credibility, influence, and the unmistakable message: the Conservative Party was dying. By January 19th, Westminster was still reeling. The aftershocks continued: whispers of more defections, rumors of rebellion, the once mighty Tory party fragmenting in real time. The emergency parliamentary session was packed that morning. Every seat filled, journalists everywhere, cameras positioned to capture what many believed would be the death throes of British conservatism. Jeremy Clarkson sat at the witness table, arms folded. His expression was grim. He'd watched the Conservative Party for decades, covered their triumphs and failures. But this was different. This was collapse. Across from him sat Kemi Badenoch, Conservative Party leader and leader of the opposition, flanked by nervous advisors and grim-faced party officials. She looked defiant, but the strain showed in her eyes. She knew what was coming. The committee chair cleared his throat. We are convened to examine the recent defection of Robert Jenrick MP from the Conservative Party to Reform UK and the broader implications for party cohesion and opposition effectiveness. He paused. Leader of the opposition, perhaps you could explain the circumstance of Mr. Jenrick's departure. Badenoch's voice was controlled but tight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Robert Jenrick was removed from the shadow cabinet and had the whip withdrawn, following clear, irrefutable evidence of plotting to defect while still serving as Shadow Justice Secretary. She straightened in her chair. This was a matter of party discipline. When someone is actively working against the party while pretending to serve it, action must be taken decisively. Clarkson leaned forward slightly. You fired him because he was planning to leave. Then he left. How is that discipline? That's just losing. A ripple of uncomfortable laughter went through the room. Badenoch's expression hardened. We maintain standards, you're losing. MPs, Clarkson interrupted calmly. Not just Jenrick. Danny Kruger, Nadhim Zahawi, all gone to Reform. How many more? The room went quiet. Badenoch shifted. Those individuals made their choices because your party is failing, Clarkson said flatly. He pulled out a document. Reform. UK is now polling at 25%. The Conservatives at 23%. You're losing to a party that barely existed 5 years ago. He looked up. Why? Badenoch tried to respond, but Clarkson continued. Robert Jenrick was your Shadow Justice Secretary, a senior figure, a former leadership candidate who you beat. And he looked at the Conservative Party under your leadership and decided Reform was better. He paused. What does that say about you? The room erupted in murmurs. A Labor Committee member looked delighted. Leader Badenoch, how do you respond to suggestions that the Conservative Party is in terminal decline? Badenoch's voice rose defensively. The Conservative Party has existed for nearly 200 years. We've weathered many storms. This isn't a storm, Clarkson interrupted. This is a mutiny. Your own people are abandoning ship. He leaned back. Jenrick didn't just quit. He publicly stated that Reform UK better represents conservative values than the Conservative Party. Your own Shadow Justice Secretary said that. Badenoch's jaw tightened. Robert Jenrick was motivated by personal ambition. Was Danny Kruger? Clarkson challenged. Was Nadhim Zahawi? Are all these people just personally ambitious, or is there something wrong with your party? Silence. A Conservative committee member tried to defend. Surely every party experiences departures. Not like this, Clarkson said. Not senior figures, not multiple defections in quick succession, not to the same party. He pulled out another document. This is from Conservative Party sources. Leaked to the press last week. It estimates that up to 15 more Conservative MPs are considering defection to Reform. Gas around the room. 15, Clarkson repeated. If even half defect, Reform becomes the official opposition. The Conservative Party becomes the third party. He looked at Badenoch. How do you stop that? Badenoch's composure was cracking. Those rumors are unsubstantiated, are they? Clarkson challenged. Because Jenrick's defection was rumored for weeks. People said he was plotting. You denied it. Then it happened exactly as predicted. He paused. So when people say more defections are coming, why should anyone believe your denials? The room was tense now. An SNP member spoke up. Leader Badenoch, what specifically makes Conservative MPs prefer reform? UK to your party? Badenoch glanced at her advisors. Reform UK offers simplistic solutions to complex problems. They offer what voters want. Clarkson interrupted. Border control. Lower immigration, less woke politics, traditional values. He leaned forward. All things the Conservative Party used to stand for, used to campaign on, used to win elections with. His voice grew harder. But under your leadership, what does the Conservative Party actually stand for? What's your message? What's your vision? Badenoch tried to respond. We stand for sound economic management, individual liberty. That's not a vision, Clarkson said. That's a Wikipedia definition. Voters want something real, something they can believe in. He gestured broadly. Reform is giving them that. Clear messages, strong positions, no apologies. He looked directly at Badenoch. What are you giving them? Silence. A Lib Dem member spoke quietly. The Conservative Party governed for 14 years, then lost catastrophically to Labor. Now you're losing members to Reform. What happened? Badenoch's voice was defensive. The previous government made mistakes. You were part of that government, Clarkson reminded her. You served in 3 different cabinet positions. You can't distance yourself from it. He pulled out another paper. Immigration hit record highs under Conservative government. Taxes rose to highest levels in 70 years. NHS waiting lists at record levels. Public services crumbling. He looked up. You governed for 14 years and left everything worse. Why would voters trust you again? Badenoch tried to interrupt, but Clarkson continued. And now, instead of learning from those failures, instead of offering something new, you're what? Attacking reform? Expelling members? Fighting internal battles? He shook his head. That's not leadership. That's panic. A young Conservative MP stood, voice shaking. My constituents are asking why they should vote Conservative instead of Reform. What do I tell them? Badenoch started to respond, but the MP continued. Because I don't know anymore. I genuinely don't know what we stand for. That's different from Reform, but better. He sat down heavily. The room went very quiet. Clarkson spoke into that silence. That's your problem, isn't it? Your own MPs don't know what the party stands for. He stood up. Robert Jenrick knew. That's why he left. He looked at conservative policies, looked at reform policies, and chose reform. The cameras followed him. Danny Kruger knew. Nadhim Zahawi knew. Apparently 15 more know. He turned to face Badenoch directly. They're not leaving because of you personally. They're leaving because the Conservative Party has lost its purpose. His voice grew quieter, but more intense. You spent 14 years in government promising to control immigration. It went up. Promising to cut taxes, they went up. Promising to fix the NHS, it got worse. He paused. Then you lost power. And now, in opposition, you're offering what exactly? More of the same promises you already broke? Badenoch's face was flushed. We're developing comprehensive policy platforms. While reform is winning voters, Clarkson interrupted. They're not developing platforms. They're taking clear positions, and people are responding. He pulled out a poll. This is from yesterday. Reform UK, 25%. Conservatives, 23%. If an election were held today, Reform would likely win more seats than you. He let that sink in. You're not the opposition party anymore. You're fighting to stay relevant. The room erupted. Conservative MPs shouting denials, opposition members sensing blood, media frantically reporting. Badenoch remained seated, visibly shaken. When order was restored, a Conservative member spoke desperately. What should the party do? How do we stop this? Clarkson looked at him. That's not my job to answer, but I can tell you what won't work. He counted on his fingers. Fighting reform won't work. They're saying what millions think. Expelling members won't work. It just proves their point. Pretending everything's fine won't work. Everyone can see it isn't. He dropped his hand. The Conservative Party is dying because it stopped being conservative. It governed like Labor Light. High tax, high spending, high immigration, woke policies, climate obsession. His voice hardened. And now voters have a choice: labor for actual left-wing policies or reform for actual right-wing policies. What's the point of the conservatives? Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. True. Badenoch finally spoke, her voice barely controlled. The Conservative Party represents the sensible center. Nobody wants the sensible center, Clarkson interrupted. They want solutions. They want change. They want someone who'll actually do what they promise. He looked around the room. Jenrick saw that. He realized the Conservative Party can't offer it, so he left. He turned back to Badenoch, and unless something dramatic changes, he won't be the last. A journalist shouted a question from the gallery. Do you think the Conservative Party will survive? Clarkson paused. Honestly, I don't know. Major parties have died before. The Liberals collapsed. The SDP failed. Parties that seem permanent can disappear. He looked at Badenoch. The Conservatives have two choices. Become actually conservative again, real policies, real commitments, real change, or continue down this path and become irrelevant. He picked up his papers. Right now, they're choosing irrelevance, and their MPs are noticing. The session ended shortly after. MPs filed out in uncomfortable clusters. Conservative members looking shell-shocked. Reform UK representatives looking triumphant. Badenoch remained seated, surrounded by anxious advisors. Outside, journalists mobbed anyone willing to comment. Is the Conservative Party finished? Will more MPs defect? Can Badenoch survive? Within hours, another rumor surfaced. 2 more Conservative MPs were in talks with Reform. Social media exploded with speculation about who would jump next. Conservative Party headquarters issued statements about unity and strength that nobody believed. And across Britain, millions watched the spectacle of a once dominant party tearing itself apart. Robert Jenrick had defected. Others were following. The Conservative Party was fragmenting, and Jeremy Clarkson had exposed exactly why. They'd lost their purpose, their principles, and their voters' trust. The question now wasn't if the party would survive. It was whether anyone would care if it didn't.